Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Bitcoin. We're going to be talking all about the bulls, the bears, and whether or not a reversal is coming. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find on down there. So why not go ahead and check it out today? Right, guys, let's get into this then. Let's take a look at Bitcoin in a little bit more detail, right? So I'm going to jump into the technicals a little bit here. We're not really going to jump into it at the beginning, though. We're going to go right into the detail of it towards the end of the video, so do stick around for that. But essentially here we are seeing this whole corrective play from $69,000. Obviously, we were hoping that this was going to be the point where we were going to basically reverse, right? This was about 32,900. We saw this move up to 48. We obviously were aware, if you go back on the channel, we're talking about this rally up here to about 47.5. We hit 48,000, and then we were pulling back down. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means it's a big corrective play. It's taken us down much lower, which means there's a high probability of reversal as we come down towards 22,900. Okay, now that's something I've been talking about for a while now, but I'll go through what all the wave counts are looking like on the smaller time frames a little bit later in the video. To start with, though, I really want to focus in on what some of these bulls and the bears are talking about. Okay, there's a lot of different opinions out there, and some of them can understand the technical, some of them don't necessarily understand the technical, so I'll leave that for you to kind of understand or to kind of make your own decision on, right? Obviously none of these are financial advisors. I'm not a financial advisor. You know, they're just basically opinions on, for me, I read the data and the charts, and I form my opinion there, and I can't speak for others. But let's take a look at this, right? So to start with, there's a 20% drop in the S&P 500, which puts the stocks in a bear market, right? 20% is basically, I guess, the classification for a bear market during or in the stock market, right? So as soon as you drop 20%, bam, you're in a bear market. Now, they are not the same as a crypto bear market or anything like that. So just be aware that they're in a bear market, and this could lead, okay, and it could lead altcoins and Bitcoin to follow. At least that's the narrative. I don't think this is the case. Personally, I think there's usually some kind of similarity between the stock market and Bitcoin. They correlate for a very brief period of time, and then they no longer correlate, okay? If they correlated 100% of the time, then you would mirror everything that was going on in the stock market. You don't always mirror everything that is going on in the stock market. They correlate for a period of time. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, and then they decouple and do different things. So although this is a bear market for the stock market, you could argue, and people are arguing now that basically crypto is going to follow that. It doesn't necessarily work that way. So interesting kind of thing. I'm not going to really read it. I just thought the title was an interesting one. Yes, we know what was the catalyst for yesterday's kind of pullback. There was a significant pullback in the S&P 500. The stock market, and wasn't actually that much of a pullback for Bitcoin, though, if we really reflect on that, which we will do in a moment. Then we'll come over across to this one really bearish scenario here. Rich dad, poor dad, whoever that is, basically is basically warning Bitcoin could test new epic lows. And sure, yeah, it could. I mean, it could also go to zero. If we're honest about it, it could go to zero. Doesn't mean it's going to. So, in this one here, basically, there's got a couple of quotes here. I was right. Why stablecoins are unstable. Just before stablecoins crashed, I warned they were unstable. Well, it was one stable coin, as far as I know, maybe two, and it was more because of the mechanics behind them. But okay, if all stable coins are unstable, that's quite a big statement. Anyway, let's move on here. One of the reasons I have gold coins and I mean real gold coins and real silver coin is there is no counterparty risk. I mean, they are the money. So when you say there's a dollar, somebody declares it a dollar and all that, who's the counterparty in the case of stablecoins? Is it the Wizard of Oz? Well, yeah. I mean, I could get it. I can agree, and to a point, right? But I think it's it is what it is. I think it's a broad statement to kind of brush all stablecoins as unstable, but that simply isn't true. There's many different types of stablecoin. Algorithmic ones, potentially, you might argue, are a little bit more of an issue. Fiat-backed stablecoins, maybe not so much. Gold and silver, sure, they're great. We hold those as well, you know. But again, times are changing. Gold and silver is harder to move than crypto as store of value. So, you know, crypto going further forward, I think will eventually, you know, kind of replace that narrative of where you would store your value. But, you know, it's good for now, so I can't argue with that. But let's take a look at this. I mean, I remain bullish on Bitcoin's future, waiting to test for a new bottom at 20,000, 14,000, 11,000, 9,000. Why do I remain bullish? Because I believe that the Fed and the Treasury are corrupt organizations. Okay, so sure, you know, the issue that I have here is what's the justification for going down to these low levels, right? How are you getting there? Show us the charts and all that kind of stuff, right? Where do you justify going and calling out these numbers? Give me the facts of how you get there. Those are the things I'm looking for. And you don't have that here in this article. So I don't know if this guy does that. If he does, link it in the description down below or something, you know, I'll be interested. Let's take a look at the next one, right? So top crypto analyst this time, okay, we'll see who that is. It says historically accurate metric signals the Bitcoin bottom is near. Okay, so that's the polar opposite of what Rich Dad Poor Dad is saying. He's saying we can go down to 9,000, but this guy's saying it's really near. Let's see what's going on then. So widely followed crypto strategist is looking at one critical metric in Bitcoin's history that accurately calling Bitcoin bottoms. So Rekt Capital tells his 303,000 Twitter followers. I wonder how many of those are bots though. And that's not a dig on this guy. That's just Twitter and Elon Musk and the Twitter bot thing that was going on. Don't take that out of context. I don't know this person. They could be 303,000 real people. I don't know. But anyway, followers, that Bitcoin's relative strength index, the RSI, is reaching a level that historically signals a bounce that could be on the horizon for the chip. Yeah, well, okay, fine. This guy's talking sense. Now I've got something I can measure. Okay, so Bitcoin's RSI reaching March 2020's lows. Okay, cool. Yeah, right down there, you can see it. Okay, so we've got some information here that we can then go ahead and verify and check, which we like. Okay, so however, the RSI dipped much lower than 2015 and 2018 to reach the bear market bottom. Okay, cool. So we know that if we were to actually look at the bear market bottoms, it would be lower than what this guy's talking about. So therefore, it might not be as near as he might be thinking. He's taking basically a pandemic crash as the low point, which wouldn't necessarily be the right thing to do, in my opinion, because that is an outlier, right? As in that's an anomaly. You're not going to have a pandemic every 4 years. Let's hope we don't have a pandemic every 4 years. So let's obviously see what's going on here, right? So yeah, basically using the RSI, I like the RSI. Relative Strength Index is good. I also like the Stochastic Rsi, as you guys would know, for the kind of smaller kind of movements and stuff. But trend-based stuff, you want to use the regular RSI for sure. So all bear market bottoms, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Well, we can check that out. So we'll have a look at that in a moment. What's next? Well, we've got this one. So 6 factors that would drive Bitcoin lower. Okay, so another bear. Let's see what this guy's talking about. So 𝗕𝗘𝗪 of crypto. Okay, I've heard of the account. I know this one. Why do I think 30k level won't hold? Well, 30k level will not hold. I know that. I think I've actually yesterday it dropped down lower than that. But anyway, it has tested it many times. It's weaker now. Blah blah blah. 5th test. Blah blah. Okay. Second reason involves bear flags. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is sure. I mean, you could argue that's a bear flag. That's cool. And his actual targets down here, guys, they're exactly the same as mine. So that looks pretty good, right? Bam. You can call it a bear flag, or you can just take a look at this as an Elliott wave structure. It's basically a 3-wave move broken down into multiple smaller waves. So pretty good. His minimum target's 23, mine's 22,900. So looking pretty good from that perspective. Okay, so what else is going on here? So that would be the second reason. The third, funding rates have remained neutral. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. We like a bit of data like that. So for a bottom to form, you want to see negative funding rates, which we haven't seen yet. Okay, cool. Let's see what else is going on here. Alt prep is no mainland, is in no man's land. It broke the key level and the next support is 35-40% lower. Okay, interesting. Okay, so basically they're talking about those futures and whatnot. So interesting kind of stuff. So okay, so keeping an eye on the stocks, S&P 500, but combined with a bullish US dollar index, the DXY, is usually bad for Bitcoin. We'll see how the DXY does actually. It would probably bounce and then probably fall back down lower, personally. But we'll see how that goes. SPX and DXY is really bearish. It's breaking support, and this would basically support Bitcoin going up, right? So you want a strong DXY, not a weak DXY, if you want Bitcoin to go down lower. So if DXY continues to kind of pull back into a bearish scenario, then do expect Bitcoin to go the opposite way. Okay, interesting. So number 6 here, heat maps look bearish. You can clearly see much more supply than demand, and some of the demand is getting weaker, moving lower. Okay, so with this, we have to also take a look at that supply in a little bit closer detail, right? We've actually seen nothing more than net difference of loss of BTC off of the exchanges, right? So the supply is actually dwindling down. It's not not more supply increasing, although this is worded in a way that makes a lot of sense, that the supply is higher than the demand, but the supply is still decreasing. Okay, so when we actually take a look at it from a data point of view, we are aware that essentially Bitcoin is getting into a place where as soon as the demand kicks in, it is going to reverse very, very quickly. It's going to catch a lot of people off guard. So if you're shorting the market, you'll get liquidated very, very quickly, in my opinion. So do be aware that the supply is shrinking, not growing. Although I will say that over the last couple of days, there have been more inflows than outflows. But again, this isn't anything to really worry about, as the 2022 so far has seen nothing more than the supply decreasing at a total level, right? Net difference, more Bitcoin leaving than exchanges than going on. But it's an interesting take here that the demand is a little bit low. So that's pretty good. I like this one. This one has some data, and I like data, as you probably know, to help us understand where things are going. What about this? So MicroStrategy has no intention to sell Bitcoin, says the company CFO. Okay, well, this is no surprise, really. MicroStrategy has no plans to sell its Bitcoin, despite Bitcoin's bearish price action across the past 6 months, according to the company's chief financial officer. Now, I'm not going to go through this again. Basically, I think they are long-term bullish on BTC, right? They're talking about it going into the millions, and if they're long enough, yeah, you could potentially see that. It's going to take a while to get there, but we can see $100,000, in my opinion, in the next run to the upside on Bitcoin. That's kind of my stance on it, and check out my Bitcoin videos. You'll know where I kind of stand on the Elliott wave structures and things like that. So interesting kind of stuff. Yeah, so let's actually jump back down then into our charts then, right? So as I said at the beginning of the video, I want to kind of give you a bit of an idea, right? I'm obviously taking a look at this entire structure now. People are right that this is potentially a bear flag right here, okay? And we actually traded this scenario, right? We moved down, we found this low point, so we saw this rally up, we did not buy that rally. Okay, that W wave there, we did not buy that. Instead, what we did is we waited for the retracement. We bought the X wave and we rode it up into this area. Now, I estimated this at $47,500. We got out here, at least most people, I would hope, within our Discord community kind of got out here, specifically in the Patreon as well. And, basically we're waiting for the bottoms to come in, which I am anticipating is 22,900. With that being said, though, many have been dollar cost averaging around these low areas that we've been at, right? You saw yesterday, Chris had bought more Bitcoin. He's okay with buying Bitcoin at these low levels. He has a dollar cost average strategy, whereas I'm looking for optimized value for bigger money to kind of come in here and, not have to watch the charts constantly, just basically know that the only direction really remaining to go is up. We have the reversal patterns are in, and we then basically buy the upward directional move. We're not looking for buying the exact bottom. We are just making sure that we're buying the right direction, right? We're not buying a downward move, we are buying an upward move. That's kind of my strategy here, but slightly different to Chris's, who is a dollar cost average strategy. So he's been slowly kind of dollar cost averaging on this move down here as we kind of edge closer and closer to the bottom, and many other people have been as well in our Discord. So that's kind of what's going on there. Let's actually make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it, right? So let me hit this one and bring this into our hourly, because we are in a very stagnant market at the moment. We're not really doing what we would expect to do. So here you can see that we've got an overbought stochastic RSI. You know, basically that stock market, that 20% dip, that was this move here. Now, what we're looking for here is, this is a 5-wave move, which is unusual. We would not normally expect to have 5 waves right here like this. You can see we're slowly working our way back up, right? And this is basically a 5-wave move with a 5-wave move with a 5-wave move. You don't have these. These are not patterns that you would have. So these 5-wave structure, this actually has to be followed by a 3-wave structure, in my opinion. So I'm looking for this to at least move up to take out this low point, which would be $29,850, right? So I'm looking at trying to move up higher here. I'm going to quickly mark that right there so you can see that yellow line. We're looking for that to go up. On the 4-hourly stock, though, we actually have lowered this down. So this is actually encouraging, right? So this actually now allows us to move on up. Now, as I take a look at this again, there's going to be some volatility here. I'm not expecting us to kind of, you know, move straight up or anything like that. We are, of course, still targeting 33,500, and this entire pattern here is very, very corrective in its nature. What I'm thinking is it's going to be a zigzag pattern up here, so a 5-3-5 structure, and the sub-wave count of the next 5 waves will determine how high we actually end up before we actually are able to pull down into our final 5th wave going down lower. And as I come up into that 4-hourly chart, you can see here and here that our 4th wave, our 5th wave move, so this 5th wave low, is down here at 22,967, which I think is a part of a daily 4th wave move, but is also part of our C wave structure on our corrective pattern. Okay, so we're getting kind of confirmation that this is going to be the area that we're looking for. So you have obviously that bear flag scenario, or as I said earlier, big WXY, or big ABC, depending on how you want to look at it. And of course, you know, you're looking at down here. This is about the most common area that I can find, which resonates incredibly well across the charts at $22,967. Now, it can come down lower, and it can fall short of this, but this is the area that is going to be the area of kind of most common retracement areas, right? This is the area that we're going to be looking for finding a reversal on. It's possible that you come down and we maybe test that $20,000 low, and that's the reversal. We're very, very close to it at that point, right? But for the most part, this is where the reversal, in my opinion, should start to come on in. So yeah, just going to keep an eye on the charts. I'm not expecting anything major over the weekend. You know, I'd like to see if we could complete this entire zigzag pattern to the upside, just get it to 33,500, so that basically next week we can start our 5-wave move down into the 5th wave low at 22,900. That would be an ideal situation, and then we can start talking about the reversal patterns from there, because one way or another will bounce, right? We'll bounce from here, and the bounce should be significant. If I pull this up into our daily, right, coming down into this low point should be a bounce at least, so we would potentially move from 22 to about 34 pretty comfortably and pretty easily, but the question really becomes whether or not we actually get the structure for trend going back up again, because we are talking about potentially a 5-wave structure where I would look for a 5-3-5-3-5, and of course break that down into each one of those waves. Those wave 1, wave 3, and wave 5 should also be a 5-3-5-3-5, and again, you break that structure down and all the various different degrees that would come with Elliott wave theory. So the grind up will be slow. It will be, you know, it wouldn't be something I would expect to happen quickly, but I would expect a surge to the upside as demand kicks in. And I don't think we're going to see significant demand until we are above $50,000 longer term. So just kind of keep things, you know, an eye on things, guys. I am expecting us to pull back down, and 22,900 is the range that I'm looking at. But it's possible that we come down and fill the gap that everyone's been, you know, drilling on about for a very long time. And if you don't, which I don't think we will, you know, it's possible, but, you know, I don't think we will. And I think it'll get left behind because too many people are expecting it. So I don't think it will actually happen. But nonetheless, we'll keep an eye out on that. And then, of course, we'll eventually start to move on up, and it'll be a fantastic run here for Bitcoin. So, guys, I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully, you found this useful and informative. There's lots of different opinions out there. Some are verifiable, which have facts behind them, and you can verify those facts. Others, they just are words, and I cannot verify them. So dig deep, do your own research, and find out what you think is likely to happen here as well. If you found it useful, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.